Hello, happiest of days to each of you folks. I hope you guys are having an absolutely magnificent day today. Today we're taking a look at a short story. It's by Heath Farnden, not Farnden with an O. Fate's Crown. It's a 14-page short story. It's here in my anthology, volume 1 of Hopes and Darkness. It's the first Lone Wolf series short story collection for you folks. Links to you on below and that sort of a thing too. As a reminder, I just recently read the Chronicles of Magnum for this channel. It's a 3-volume, just published a few months ago here and this year for you folks. And while I was in that mood, I was like, I took a look at their website and saw these two volumes and that sort of a thing too. So this is the next one called Fate's Crown for you folks. And it's so basically, as a reminder, this is set in the world of Lone Wolf that was heavily popularized by Joe Dever, and actually most of his game books are free online in case you want to check them out on a website called projectaeon.com, and that sort of thing too. I read it when I was a kid. He was one of my favorite authors at the time. He's actually on my appendix and is one of my 10 most influential. So I've even written a game book based on that stuff. Right, and that sort of a thing too, so giving him some shout outs here and there, as well as tons of reviews for the channel too, if you're interested in checking that stuff out. Alright, so basically this is set in the second book, Fire on the Water. It's right, actually, or you could argue it's actually between first book and the second book. So in the first book, you are young, sometimes a little difficult, a little mouthy, sometimes too, a young Kai, and they have the Feast of Femlarn. In the great good kingdom of Summerland, you had sent out to go collect some wood for this giant festival that they're having. And while they're having this festival, they are ambushed in part by a traitor named Vonatar from the Brotherhood of the Guild, who betrays them, and they're all killed. And then the ambush, then they actually launch a surprise attack. And that sort of thing too. So you're coming to dodging those surprise attacks and you need to report to a king of the death of all of that stuff. And then once you arrive in the kingdom's capital city of Homeguard, and you tell your king, then the next thing is start book 2. You have begun the siege, and your king only has enough time to survive for 40 days. So you're going to go and get an artifact of magical power and a sword called the Summer Sword from a nearby nation that's also friends and allies. And you guys call it, and you're going there and getting that taken care of, if you will. So this is set in Homeguard right as that is happening for you folks. Also the first short story called 40 Days, and here it was also set in that too. That short story was a short story of a person who had become who was a private investigator who had turned a little criminal and that sort of thing after his family had died, and he wasn't able to sort of get them to justice. And so that's his story and sort of thing too. He's actually been found as his name and blood and stuff were left over from a person who he was killed while he was in custody. So he's now going out to take care of that. He's being accused of that. So that's his major character arc. So here, it's set in that time, but basically what's happening is that in order to pay for all the war stuff that's about to start, the king has ordered the master of the mint to print more coins to get that stuff paid for, and all of them have already been purchased, right? Sort of thing too. Now, the coin of this is called the Gold Crown. That is the coin of this space in Magnum. And that sort of thing too. So basically this at the beginning of it is it's a little mass printed and that sort of a thing too. Somebody from the kingdom's king guard says there to check in on the prince, and the master of the mint gives him the faulty coin, the crown, and sort of thing too. And then a couple pages in, he's going to give it to a beggar. And we'll follow. Basically what we'll do is we'll start to follow the beggar, then we'll follow who the coin goes to next, all the way to the end, if that makes sense. And then the last person will be somebody that interacts with Lone Wolf while you're there between the books. I think that makes sense. And you'll learn more about that mission. Now, both this and the previous one, 40 Days, have both talked about this, are set in the city, but I feel like 40 Days did a better job, and that sort of a thing too. Now, this one will interact with your characters, so if you're interested in that, it's probably got more of a powerful, right, or something like that. Basically, I feel like what's happening here is the better story, because it's not one person following it all. All right, I feel like it does a better story. And the better things, the better hitting, and that sort of a thing too. So I feel like the first one was the better short story. I think I gave it a 7.5 or an 8. I'm not sure exactly, because it was like 6 or 7 short stories going a couple weeks ago. So I'm only giving this probably more like a 7. It's fine. I don't dislike it. I do like the idea of following a coin from one person to the next as it goes about. I think it's an interesting take on what's happening and the siege in progress, but you get the idea, right? I don't feel like it has the presence that the first one had. So there you are. So that is 7 out of 10, if you will, for this Crown short story and that sort of a thing too. But what did you? So there you are. So have you read it? And if so, what did you think about it? I'd love to talk with you more about it in the comments below. Right? As a reminder, right, I'm not a trained critic of literature. I didn't study English in college either. Right? So that means that your opinion really is as valid as mine is. Right? I'm just a fan, right, like yours is. Right? So what did you think about this? That short story. If you agree or disagree with my 7 out of 10, happy to talk to you about it. Try to keep it spoiler free like I did too, for folks, and that sort of a thing too. I know you want to talk about spoilers, but again, try to keep it spoiler free for those people that might be checking this out for the first time for you folks. Alrighty, so there you go. So I do some other reviews a week. On Wednesday, I do reviews of older video games and that sort of a thing too. Right, I've done the Fallout series. I've done the Baldur's Gate series and that sort of a thing too. So check that stuff out if you're interested. And then also, please, on Saturday, do something called Serial Saturday, dedicated to the forgotten storytelling method of movies and TV serials. I've done Dick Tracy, I've done Tarzan, I've done Sahara, I've done Flash Gordon, I've also done the first 2 seasons of Doctor Who too. Heavily influential at the time, but isn't as well remembered today and such. And then on Monday, do reviews of older RPGs like Dungeons & Dragons or Middle-earth role-playing or war games like Battletech. And that sort of thing too, so check that out. I've done a lot of modules too, including like 40 or 50 modules as of right now, including a bunch by Gary Gygax, the co-founder of the company, for you folks. And then 3 other reviews a week, including this moving forward. It's a week, right, of older reviews in the 3 genres that we cover in fantasy and science fiction and horror too, right? Great stuff, love it lots. So if those 7 older reviews a week sound like your cup of tea, then great. Welcome to the channel and have a seat. I think you'll enjoy your time here quite a bit, right? And while you're here, why not do all the YouTube stuff too, like subscribe, like button, bell icon to be notified as videos in case you're feeling frisky. Then also share and like. You just basically share and watch. A key ways of growing the channel for you folks. As you can tell from all the 7 things, and it's the older things in the name, it's the passion of this channel too, right? It's even where its name comes from. The worst thing about new books. That's a quote by a French philosopher, Jacques Joubert, who said that the worst thing about them was that they kept us from reading the old stuff, right? And our passion for the new stuff, the new modules, the new video games, the new novels, the new movies, right? The new album, all that stuff, right? We sometimes forgot and that these things are standing on the shoulders of giants. So let's check out those giants. Not that they're bad, they're not, right? But you get the idea. All right, so there you are. And I want to thank you so very, very much for just taking some time out of your day and investing, right? And watching my videos, because we all have so many things that are happening in our lives, and we're pulled in so many different directions too, right? So the fact that you spent this time with me, that's incredibly humbling, and I appreciate that so very, very much. So thanks again, and have an amazing day.